My Lords, as we talk in this chamber, the Middle East is once again a powder keg of extreme danger, and I share all the apprehensions and fears that were expressed by Lord Ricketts in his very important speech. Now, it's easy to say what to do, and the Secretary-General gave a very good, precise order of priorities as soon as this crisis blew up. He said, stop escalation, exercise maximum restraint, restart a dialogue, and avoid a new war. I think the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, which is this organization that desperately tries to keep open a dialogue with Iran on nuclear weapons, has once again shown remarkable tenacity and determination to try and rescue something in that particular area. But I think we shouldn't put too much on this issue. And I think we have to ask ourselves now, what mechanisms for restarting the dialogue? It's that which has not restarted and shows no real sign of restarting. The UN Security Council will debate the issue. The UN Secretary-General appointed an individual, a British person, to be his representative over Yemen. And he's done as much as I think any human being can personally do. What he lacks is the clout of the big players in the Middle East. And let's face it, those big players now are very clear. From the moment that Putin responded to the plea from the president of Syria to come and rescue Damascus, which I believe is a very important and correct decision to take, Russia has now restored its position, which at one time was very powerful in the Middle East, and it is a powerful player, and it is noticeable how frequently President Putin talks not just to Iran, Arab leaders, but to Netanyahu. And there is a constant dialogue there. The place where there is no dialogue, and I regret it deeply, is between President Trump and President Putin. We all know the reasons why it's difficult for that to have happened during this presidency. But I think it's never been more urgent, and I think that countries of many different positions on relations with Russia and relations with the United States all should try and encourage a dialogue between Putin and Trump, and in more particular, a dialogue between trusted representatives of the two of them. That's not easy to find, to be blunt. But we have had experience in the past of trying to develop new mechanisms. The contact group in Southern Africa in 1978 proved to be remarkably successful over a long period of time, and on a resolution which was negotiated then, and Namibia came to independence 12 years later. There was some success in the contact group in the Balkans in 1994. And it may be another time for a contact group. It's interesting now how China has a real stake in what happens in the tankers coming in and out of the Gulf. More and more of them, as they go through the Straits of Hormuz, figuratively speaking, turn left now. The United States has not got much interest itself in oil coming out of the Gulf. The Iranians and the Russians and the Chinese formed a maritime group, almost as a demonstration to those of us who also tried to form maritime groups to protect shipping. But I believe the biggest danger is what was mentioned earlier, is a proxy starting this war. And it could happen at any stage. And it has been coming very clear that if more Iranian troops go from Iraq into Syria and then into the Lebanon. And it is that pathway which has been clearly marked for at least 3 years and which we have done practically nothing about. And we have to focus on that. So I believe the Secretary-General and the UN Security Council have a very real responsibility, and it may be the only thing they can do is to use the 5 permanent members and appoint people with weight and experience to tour around the Middle East and start a dialogue.